Hey guys, it's Stephanie from My Porch Prints, and today I've got a project for you. It is these pressed flower window tags, and we're going to be using some things from my Etsy shop, some printable kits, and that includes the papers that I use for the tags are from my Shabby Script junk journal kit, and I'll put links down below to all of this. And then we're going to be using some of these French frames and these butterflies, which are from a freebie in my Facebook group. I also sell fussy cut butterflies in my Etsy shop, so if you want to purchase them there, you can. And then I've got some fussy cut roses and some inspirational journal words. And we're going to be using a couple of other things too, including these clear like MYLAR sheets, and again I'll put links down below to these things. And then I've got some pressed flowers in a book that I pressed last summer, and that's what I'm going to be using. But if you're like, oh, I don't have pressed flowers, then you can of course buy them online, or you could just use some fussy cut flowers in place of the pressed flowers if you want to. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start with, we need to cut out our tag shape. And I actually have a freebie that I'm going to be putting in my Facebook group. And it's just a black and white template that you can print on top of any paper or patterned paper. I actually printed this on cream colored cardstock, and this is from the Shabby Script journal kit, this paper pattern. But this tag shape, I don't know if you can see it, it's really light, is from a freebie that will be in the Facebook group. So if you want to get this simple tag shape, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just cut your own. It's not a really complicated shape. Okay, and once I cut my tag out, I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges. Okay, and for this tag, I've cut out two of the French frames that are identical. So I printed it twice and cut them out. But it's important to note that these are not symmetrical, not all of them. So like this one, you can see I printed the same frame, but when you flip it over, you can actually see some of the white parts kind of like poking through, because it's not, you know, perfectly the same on each side. So when you do this, you might want to pick one that, like, where the inside right here is pretty much symmetrical, you know, so that you can not see it poking through like that, you know. Like, for instance, these aren't symmetrical, so you can see the white kind of poking through inside there. So anyway, that'll be important when we put it on our tag. But again, it's not the end of the world if you see a little bit of white showing through. It's just a little bit cleaner if you don't. So I'm going to take one of these identical frames and I'm going to place it where I want it on the card, and then I'm going to go ahead and trace inside. So that looks good to me. I'm just going to trace right here, and then I want to cut this out. And to get myself started, I'm just going to take a hole puncher. This is a CROP-A-DILE, but you can use any kind of hole punch, and I'm just going to punch a hole inside, and that gives me kind of a starting point for my scissors. So, and then when I cut this out, what I want to do is cut just a little bit beyond the circle. So I drew my circle here, but I'm cutting out and I'm giving a little border to it. And that's just to give us a little bit of extra room to play with when we move our frame around. So now if I stick my frame over the top of it, I've got a little, you know, wiggle room for placing it on here. Oh, and that's my dog Toby. He sees somebody outside. Okay, so next we want to grab our clear MYLAR sheet. And you don't have to use, you know, special MYLAR for this part. If you want, you can order, you know, or you can use like sheet protectors or even like sandwich baggies, whatever clear thing you have laying around that might work for this. But what I want to do is kind of put it on the back of my frame, and then just kind of eyeball where to cut it. So I'm gonna kind of just do it like this. Oh. And then you can see where it like sticks out past the frame, and I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is just, again, turn it to the back here and kind of cut it so that it stays within the frame. And you can see now that it's within the borders of this frame. And I'm going to do that twice. So I'm going to grab another piece and do it again. And now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece. And of course it's not perfectly clear, it's got some imperfections, but I'm going to glue it onto the back of this frame. And I'm keeping my glue just a little bit away from the hole in the center because I don't want it to kind of ooze over and show up in my middle piece here. All right, and then I'm going to take my pressed flour, and remember that it's going to show on the opposite side, so if this is the side I want showing, I'll flip it over. And I don't think this one has a particularly right or wrong side, so I'm going to stick it in here, and it looks a little bit big. So I'm going to cut a little bit off. Right about there, I think will be pretty. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of glue on my flour to help it stick. And of course, it's all stringy. And then I want to put some glue again around the outside of my frame area. And then I'm going to sandwich this in between these two pieces of Mylar, just like that. And then this whole thing is going to get glued onto our tag. So what I want to do is put a little glue on this outside part past the Mylar, kind of on the paper or the cardstock here. And then I'm going to put some around my hole, again leaving a little bit of space for the glue to ooze. And we're going to flip this over and stick it on right here. Looks good. Okay, and since the other side's kind of unattractive right now, we're going to go ahead and take this second frame that matches the first one that we printed twice, and we're going to go ahead and put it right here. And you could always print on the back of your tag too, you know, if you want it to be printed pretty on both sides, but I left this one just the cream color of the cardstock. Okay, and now we got to add some finishing touches. So again, these are just the freebie butterflies, but we do have fussy cut butterflies in our shop, and the freebies are in our Facebook group. And if you want to become a member of the Facebook group and get coupons and freebies, don't forget that you have to answer all of the questions, and then it will automatically approve you. But you do have to be a member of Facebook for, I think, 6 months, just to avoid scammers who just join for, you know, a day to scam. And I'm just folding this butterfly. I guess I should probably tell you what I'm doing here. Just folding the wings on either side of the body to give them a little bit of like a realistic butterfly look. And then these are from our fussy cut roses. And I'm just going to choose one to go on here. I like that one. And don't forget, whatever you put over the window will show on the other side. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and use some mounting tape. And this is just a little bit of puffy tape. I buy mine, just a little hint for you, in the hardware section instead of the craft section because it's cheaper over there. I think they take advantage of us crafters sometimes. If you hear a strange sound in the background, that's my dog Toby chewing on a bone. Toby! Toby! Okay, and then I've got a little bit of cheesecloth here that I'm just going to glue down in the corner. And then I've got a journal word, and I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges really quickly. It'll help it stand out a little bit. There we go, that looks pretty good. And then to finish it off, I'm gonna add a piece of lace to the top to create kind of a tag top. Okay, and there you go. It's that simple. Thanks for watching, guys.